Knowledge Area PMP Exam Summaries, Integration Management. Let's take a look at what exactly you should focus on when studying integration for the PMP exam. Before you dive into integration, make sure you understand the full landscape of the entire PMBOK guide processes. In these videos, we'll be focusing on the PMBOK guide 5th edition. Again, it is important for you to understand all the other processes from the other knowledge areas at a high level to understand what integration does. The first process of integration management is develop project charter. To fully understand this, you need to understand PMI's approach to projects in the process groups. The approach is one in which the selection of projects has already occurred outside of the 47 processes. The project in question has been selected, and this process, Develop Project Charter, authorizes the project with the development of the project charter. Now, to understand what is in the charter, in addition to reading up your study guide and the PMBOK guide, bear in mind that several documents exist that were created outside of the 47 processes. These could include agreements of various types such as MOUs, LOIs, and more. If we are talking about an external customer, we could be talking about all manner of agreements. We could also be talking about a business case that makes a case for the project and a statement of work, in addition to other organizational templates. The Develop Project Charter process develops that charter that puts the project on the map. Now, for your exam, you need to understand the role of the project sponsor or initiator. This could be an entity, a group of people, a PMO, an organization that is responsible for supplying the project with the resources needed, the funding needed, and so on. Read this very carefully in the PMBOK guide because the questions could mask who exactly the sponsor is. The question could also mask what exactly the project charter is. So know the characteristics of your project charter. The next process is Develop Project Management Plan. To understand this, again, you need to be aware of page 78 in the PMBOK guide. You need to know all of the plans and baselines that are mentioned on that page. Change Management Plan and Configuration Management Plan are also part of the plans you should be aware of. The Develop Project Management Plan process is in integration because it is one that integrates the various subsidiary plans and baselines into the final project management plan. Pay close attention to outputs from other processes. Pay close attention to the fact that these outputs from other processes, which is an input to Develop Project Management Plan, could also consist of project management plan updates that come from a variety of processes outside of integration. The next process is Direct and Manage Project Work. This is a very important process because it is one in which the deliverable is produced theoretically in the world of the PMI in the PMBOK Guide 5th edition. Also realize that approved change requests is an input to this process. Pay close attention to this cycle. Approved change request comes from Perform Integrated Change Control and goes both into Direct and Manage Project Work and also control quality, and also control procurement. Know this dynamic. Also observe that the recurring theme of work performance data originates here. To fully understand what I am talking about, open up to Figure 4-1 and observe the numerous ITTOs I am mentioning here. Direct and managed project work gives WPD out, and that becomes an input to all of those monitoring and controlling processes outside of integration. In the next process, monitor and control project work, we see the effect of having WPD going into those monitoring and controlling processes, being processed, coming out as WPI, and coming back into monitor and control project work. Another very important dynamic to observe. From monitor and control project work, we get work performance reports. It is also important to observe how monitor and control project work uses schedule forecasts and cost forecasts as an input, which makes its way into the resulting work performance reports as analyzed data. The work performance report becomes an input to the next process, perform integrated change control. Sometimes as change control is underway, the CCB may need to be aware of those work performance reports and project status. In perform integrated change control, we have a group of authorized individuals, which could include the project manager and the project sponsor and others, who review change requests and approve or reject the change requests or put them into pending status or on hold. Major outputs of perform integrated change control include the change log and also approved change requests. It is important to see the change log coming out of perform integrated change control and being an input to stakeholder management to manage stakeholder engagement, to be precise. The final process here is close project or phase. Trick questions could revolve around closing out a phase as opposed to a project, closing out a procurement as opposed to a phase. It therefore becomes very important to understand the close procurement process in contrast to closing a project or closing a phase. The summary of performing well on integration management, even though it is embedded within the 5 process groups and not an explicit stand-alone tested area, is to understand everything else in relation to the various knowledge areas and see integration as a knowledge area that weaves everything together into one cohesive whole. The inability to see how the moving parts of project management integrate could result in performing badly in this area on the exam. On the PMP exam, you can expect that the questions will blend various knowledge areas together. That is a true test of integration management. For project management training, coaching, and 35 contact hours of project management education towards your PMP exam, visit www.praizion.com.